Hello, 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 everyone. I hope everyone is doing good today. Welcome back to Yo, You Like That, the talk show where I, your host, Zarataro, the lovable VTubing ham, brings on guests of the creating variety, where we talk about things that are awesome, things that are like super important for the world, things that will change everything about awesome that's super cool and just they're just nice. Just nice things. Everyone should just, have more nice things in their life. We've got a super awesome guest here today. Let's go ahead and get them on to the floor. We've got Skip. You prefer Skipperson? Is there a... I forgot to ask.
Skip is totally fine. Thank you so much for having me
Yes!
on, Zarataro.
Thank you for coming on. How are you doing today?
Fantastic. Doing really well. Just having a, I would say having a chill Thursday, but it's incredibly fucking hot, like everywhere. So
My God.
I hope
It's
everybody's
so
staying
hot.
cool and just
Why
kind of,
is the sun our enemy? We must destroy the sun. Oh, man. For the uninitiated, please introduce yourself.
Well, hi. My name's Skip. I'm at twitch.tv/skipskipperson. And I am a space android VTuber. Basically, I was a regular meat streamer before becoming a VTuber, and I started streaming entirely because of Metal Gear. Like I had a friend who got me into it, and that's what I started streaming to Twitch with, and I ended up falling into the VTuber hole as a result. So thank you for having me on, Zarataro. It's really good.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much for coming. And speaking of Metal Gear, that's right, the topic of today. Metal Gear!
Mhm. Metal Gear.
Yo. All right. Okay. Now it's going to be a crazy thing because, it's Metal Gear. But what is a Metal Gear?
Yeah, that's the plot to Metal Gear. Yeah.
Yes.
No,
Thank
but
y'all for
really,
coming, everyone.
yeah, that's the. I mean, that's the joke, right? I mean, Metal Gear, like that's hard to say. It varies so much between all the different games, but it's basically Metal Gear is like a stealth action espionage kind of game, that where you're playing in Metal Gear Solid, you're playing Solid Snake, a paramilitary operative who's trying to sneak around Shadow Moses, a base in Alaska, and stop nefarious powers from releasing Metal Gear, a bipedal robot that has nukes, and it's basically kind of like the nuclear triad that exists in real life, where you have ICBMs like ground-based nukes, and you have subs that can launch nukes, and you have stealth bombers that can drop nukes. This is a bipedal robot, like stealth robot, that can infiltrate a country and land, be somewhere undetectable, and then launch nukes from like a border without being detected.
Yeah,
So
it's crazy.
more than just, yeah.
I was gonna say, the more you think about like its design and the actual ramifications it could have everywhere, like, yeah, no, something like that's not allowed to exist.
Right. And this was Metal Gear Solid came out in what, like 98, right? Or like 97?
97 or 98, yeah.
Yeah. So like about when like some Cold War stuff was ending.
It's always
And
cold in Alaska.
but that's kind of what this was a play off of. And even before that, even before Metal Gear Solid, there was like Metal Gear 1 and 2.
Yes, Hideo Kojima, the man behind the awesome game at the time, Penguin Adventure, went and made a franchise starting out that like changed gaming forever. Let's not lie, like his like cinematic and storytelling approach definitely like defined like almost like a generation of what people wanted to have in their game in regards to the movie, the Hollywood-esque emotion.
Yeah, I remember like a lot of Tom Clancy books and stuff were also pretty big. Like when I was growing up, and they had sort of similar that sort of like spy thriller, like sort of James Bond feel.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what all this plays off of, you know. Like it's a lot of that, which I love. And not only that, but like there's jokes, there's humor, there's like all sorts of good other dumb references. You get to sneak around in a cardboard box, which is stupid and
Yeah.
trope of the entire series, and it's just dumb and fun. And there's yeah, maybe there's like some parts that don't hold up because it's problematic, but like, yeah, it's a whole experience.
The whole experience, and it's good. It's so good. Don't let anyone don't let
Mhm.
anyone lie to you. It's good. It's, oh man, how did you discover Metal Gear? Like, what was your like
Well,
intro to the series?
uh, it was uh, basically I've had a friend for a long time who's wanted me to play Metal Gear, and I've been kind of resistant to it just because it's it's like hundreds of hours of content of stuff, which is awesome, but also it's hundreds of hours of stuff. So when you have a friend
You
who's
gotta
like,
schedule it
you
in.
know, yeah, or like it's like you've got that friend who's like, I love this series on Netflix, and you're gonna love it when you get to the eighth season, and it's like, okay,
Ah,
sure,
yes, yes, I know.
great, right? Like, I'm gonna spend the 300 hours to get to that point. Thank you, but like, yeah, I ended up telling him like, hey, thanks but no thanks. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm an adult man, and I gotta do shit to like get food on the table and stuff. And he's like, what if instead I bet you that you can't do? I can't remember what the bet was, but I lost, and the bet was to play all of Metal Gear. He ended up being extremely generous and giving me a used PS3 to play the Metal Gear collection on,
Oh,
and
nice.
I one-upped him and started streaming to Twitch.
There you go. So you started on Metal Gear Solid 1 off of the HD collection on PS3?
I actually had a PS2 and got a used copy for the PS2 and played Metal Gears 1, 2, and 3 on a PS2 to Twitch.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Booyah.
so original hardware.
Very nice. I miss PS2. Well, I mean, I still have one, but like, yeah, you could always still just like play the PS1 games on it, just pop it in. It's like, yeah, no change. Everything just works.
Yeah, and it's extremely good too. Like it was extremely fun and compelling and shit. Like I'm
Did you
really happy the
remember to
collection that we have.
change the memory card? Change your controller
I
port, I mean?
I did, and that's kind of getting into another topic that we wanted to talk about, where like in that series, there's an amazing boss fight in the first game where you're fighting against a dude that like reads your memory card and says what you have on it, and is like, "So Snake, do you like Roblox or whatever the hell?" Um, Not Roblox, but you know
No,
what I
yeah,
mean.
no, but I know exactly what you mean. I played the first time I played Metal Gear Solid 1 was the Twin Snakes on the GameCube. And so I got the whole, so you like Super Smash Brothers? I'm like, I do. Who told you?
So, but here's the question. So, like, when Psycho Mantis reads your card and does like some of his tricks to like do stuff, I'm wondering what is going to happen for the Steam version of the game, and if it's going to be like, uh, so you play those types of games on Steam, do you? Snake, I didn't know you like that. Like,
You play the
uh,
Hitler dating sim? Oh, Snake, you dog.
exactly. You're a adorable boyfriend fan as well. Snake. Interesting, interesting.
Gun Gal 1 and 2? An
Oh God,
entrepreneur.
yeah.
Oh, I could
No,
hope
but
so.
I okay. Well, that implies that they're gonna have like a bunch of effort to do stuff, and I don't know if they're gonna do something other than just
Zero
like having
effort.
green. Yeah, he has a bunch of canned lines that he says if you don't have any recognizable games, and that's probably what's gonna happen. But we can dream,
We can
we can
dream.
hope.
Fans will mod it in. It's okay.
Orc game, yeah, okay. Um,
Oh man. But yeah, no, like it's got a whole bunch of like crazy fun boss fights. It's a lot of good gameplay, a lot of good story. What's probably like some of your favorite aspects of the Metal Gear games?
well, honestly, it's the writing, like how creative Kojima is about the stuff that he does and sort of the scenarios that he sets up. Um, there is uh, like how he does the plot to 2, for example, is just stellar. Like um he basically makes this almost like prediction about like, hey, I think that the control of information is going to be this incredibly important thing in the future, and he does this in like, I don't know, 2000, year 2000, and he basically laid out the plot of what the entirety of the 2010s was like in a video game, and it's unnerving, disturbing, and weirdly closely accurate, and incredibly wild to think that if you had played that at the time and then you were living through the events, you were just like, oh no, oh no. I know what this is. I've seen this before, and this is terrifying. Like, no, thank you. You know, like that's the fact that he's so good with how those the stories of those games kind of work together, even though like it's a really complicated story. That's really cool. I really like that.
Yeah, I know. I always love the little throwbacks and tie-in to kind of like link all of them together. It does feel more like a shared universe, but it also feels like it also takes in so much of the world around us in it too, which is like you said, why 2 kind of resonates so well, because like he could kind of see the flow of like, you know, information and technology advancing and like people's reliance and stuff, and he like just like perfectly kind of like bleeds that in, and then you're like, shit, yeah, this guy's a witch, I say.
He definitely had a lot of things right, which was weirdly impressive. And he not only did it once, but he did it twice with MGS4 as well, to a degree. So yeah, it's it's definitely interesting to watch. It gets less thrillery and more like yikes. But it's still really good series to play.
It is, and remember, it's Hideo Kojima's Metal Gear Solid. No matter what Konami puts on the games nowadays, because they fired him, they did not like him anymore. Oh man,
no, they did him dirty. Yeah, no, I specifically remember. So around like, when did MGS5 come out? Like 2014,
something like
2015.
that.
Yeah, I remember. I specifically remember getting PT on a friend's
yes.
console. Right, and he was gonna make Silent Hills. The collaboration between him and Junji Ito and oh no, why am I blanking on,
Del Toro.
Yeah, Guillermo del Toro, and the 3 of them were going to write a Silent Hills game, which was amazing, and would have been the coolest horror game in the world. And Konami was just like, nah, we're good. We're gonna make pachinko machines. See you out. See you later. It's all patchy slot. Goodbye. And only now, like I don't know, a cool 8 years later, have they decided to turn that around a little bit and be like, actually, maybe we do want to make some money off this video game IP that's incredibly popular and makes a lot of money, and that were just kind of left in the dust and made a pachinko machine out of that you can't find anymore in Tokyo because they only stick around for like 3 years and then are recycled out. So
yeah, apparently, I was watching a Super Bunny Hop, and he was like, even when it came out, it was only in like very like select patchy slot parlors, just because a lot of places didn't want the room for it to be taken up, or they just weren't that like confident in it. I guess like previous Konami ones just didn't sell as well as certain other ones.
Weird. Yeah, I recently got the chance to go to Japan for vacation, and I tried to find it and could not. So like, even like, you're right. It was incredibly hard to find, and just anybody that I talked to was like, no, I mean, like, I've got a friend that's super into pachinko and we've never seen it. And it's like, well, shit, okay, guess I'm gonna not do that, or just be insane and somehow get it off of eBay, which isn't, it's a couple $1,000, so no. You know, like,
if anyone wants to go fund a VTuber arcade full of patchy slots, please let me know so I can put in for that, because that sounds like an avenue of content that hasn't been touched yet. Although I don't really want to like promote gambling. Maybe we can make it like free quarters, like, you know, like in the arcade whenever you put on the free quarter mode.
Yeah, true. And you're just playing just for fun. And
yeah, just push the button.
What it was like. Mm-hmm.
Just push the button. Konami also had that Silent Hill one that just was like that. Just push the button. Konami's been so crazy lately. It had like a break in games to where like the only thing they made was like Pro Evolution Soccer, and then all of a sudden they're like, okay, here's like the Gradius collection. Here's our arcade hits. Here's Castlevania Classic. By the way, we're getting the Layers of Fear people to do Silent Hill. Oh, by the way, Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta. You gotta
Good
wonder,
old
like,
triangle.
did someone like get blackmailed into making games, or does like someone like take over the company? You can never tell. Those Japanese companies are always so secretive.
I, I bet it's just a management change, honestly, that made them a bit more receptive to actually having to utilizing their IPs because it's just money that on the table, you know, like
They saw
there's not
Capcom making a whole bunch of money off the stuff they own, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we own stuff. Why don't we make money?"
right. I mean, Capcom comes out and they make like a number like four, yeah, four really good remakes of the Resident Evil series. They're like, well, maybe we should actually, not abandon an IP that's incredibly popular and still very popular to this day. Because like, look at the reception it got on Twitter. It's incredible. Like, people fucking love it. I love it. I mean, shit. That's
Insanity,
why I played like 7
insanity.
games of it. Right?
Yeah, so Metal Gear is back. Sadly, without Kojima, but I mean, but he still lives on in our hearts and in the games that he made. So I'll always remember him. Also in Zone of the Enders, they took his name off of Zone of the Enders. It makes me so upset. Ah!
I was gonna say he's not dead. He's still making Norman Reedus and the Fantastic Fetus.
Yeah, number 2 is coming
Pizza
out.
Delivery Adventures. Yeah. And I'm super excited because he just had Nicolas Cage visit his game studio.
Oh,
After
I
doing one
love his
thing,
Twitter so much. Every time he shows something that he likes or shows an actor he's met, I always feel they're going to be like brought into his projects. He just has this kind of
which
charisma.
which they probably will because every time that happened with when he announced something pre-releasing Death Stranding, that actor mysteriously ended up in the game. So like,
Yep.
why can't we have? I mean, we have Nicolas Cage now in Dead by Daylight, right? So why can't he be in the next Kojima project? And I am super fucking into that and super excited.
I am all for my Nicolas Cage in the gaming verse future. We started with Keanu Reeves. Now we have gone to Nicolas Cage. We can, yeah, now we're on the right timeline in some cases.
Yep, just give me both. Give me all of them. I want them. I want them. I want more Conan O'Brien in weird places that I don't expect him to be. Like I want John Oliver in weird places I don't expect him to be. Like that. More like
Yes,
that, please. More of that.
more of that. Oh man. We were talking about the games, but there have been a lot of spin-offs that Hideo Kojima didn't exactly have as much input on. But I was wondering, have you played Survive?
No, that's actually up next.
Oh, okay.
There's your friend and mine, Egan, is actually on my list of people to play Survive with.
Oh shit! I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yep, he gets to experience the magic that is that multiplayer. So that's gonna be
yeah.
that's
I
gonna be a
hope
lot
it
of
still
fun.
runs smooth. A lot of people give Survive guff, but I played it with a friend. Yeah, we had a good time. Like it's not everything that Metal Gear is, but there's a fun game behind a lot of the nonsense in there. So
I think that's one of the like you go in with the right idea and you just understand that it's not a Kojima project. It's not.
yeah,
It's not. That's not what it is, and you're fine.
yeah,
Right? It's not as like weird or and besides, like the motto now in 2022 and 2023 is just embrace cringe, right? So like,
embrace cringe.
yeah, just go for it. I mean, enjoy what you're gonna enjoy. If you liked that, then and people are like, I don't like this game because it's not for the purists. It's like, nah, man, fuck that. Just enjoy stuff. Like, why do you gotta
Final
be like that?
Fantasy is
Just
not
have
Final
fun.
Fantasy if it doesn't have turn-based. Sorry, I'm just
I mean,
people never
I'm
change.
I am excited for Devil May Final Fantasy 16.
It's fun. It's a fun time. It's got chocobos. Of course, it's Final Fantasy. You crazy haters out there.
Exactly. Is
15
there
didn't have turn-based content. Y'all didn't complain about that. There's other stuff to complain about. Oh man,
can I limit break? Are there chocobos? Then because then it counts.
I haven't yet, but I'm sure there'll become a time. It's, oh man. But yeah, so no, Survive's a good time, and then I'm also looking forward whenever you get to the Acid, the card games. Those are a lot of fun as well.
Yeah, I gotta figure out a way to do that. I do have a PSP to try to play that with, but streaming out on a PSP is going to be really weird. to Twitch and then still be actively using the PSP and like looking at a different screen instead of like looking up. So I need to figure out how to make that happen. It's just gonna be strange to play, even with like mirroring. Much rather have like some sort of solution like the PlayStation TV
Yeah.
that I could just play it on because it'd be its own like consoleized version of a PSP, right? So I don't know. I need to figure it out. But yeah, I wouldn't mind playing Acid.
Yeah. Good times, good times. Oh man. So yeah, you started on Metal Gear Solid 1 on the PS2, man. I feel like I missed out. I didn't actually get into Metal Gear until a friend showed me the first like hour of Solid. What was it, the first hour? Yeah, the first hour of Snake Eater. And then I was like, where's this series been my whole life? And then I went back and went to find I had a like you go to like the garage or whatever and you find like a box full of old like NES games. I found a copy of Metal Gear 1, so I'm like, oh snap, let's try this. I could not get out of the forest. I could not get out of the forest. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. The dogs and the soldiers keep hitting me.
Well, I encourage you to do kind of a little bit of what I've done. It turns out that stealth really works well when there's no. It still counts as stealth when nobody is around, conscious to observe you. So if you just.
Are you sure you haven't watched me play Metal Gear 4? it's like stealth, right? Pow, 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 pow.
Well, I mean, also Perfect. You can do the worm. The Snake can do the worm in Metal Gear 4, and that's a fucking awesome time. And
yeah,
also,
you get to roll around.
Though. You got that cake though.
My booty's too big. It's absorbing all the bullets.
Renal, I'm trying to sneak around, but I'm dummy thick, and the clap of my ass cheeks keeps alerting the guards. Yeah.
I love it. You know what like always kind of like shocked me is Snake getting into Smash Brothers.
Yeah, like
blew my mind.
Now later understanding what Metal Gear is and like what's going on with that, I'm just happy he's in because like yes. I mean Smash Bros turned into Anime Sword Boy convention, but I'm just happy he's there, honestly.
He's really fun to play. He's one of my top 3 characters that I like to play as. It's just always have a good time. Always like just love dropping those little remote bombs. Boop. All right, I'll forget about it for a while. Good luck, everyone.
I was gonna say, are you excited for people lamenting the fact that Gino is not in Smash Bros. Again? Now that the Super Mario RPG is getting remade?
I was going to say is, so not only is this going to be like, everyone's finally going to know who Gino is after being demanded for Smash Brothers for a few years, but now Gino fans can be salty again that he's still not in Smash Brothers despite being in a new game. Exactly. And he'll never be in Smash Brothers. I was never really on the Genos for Smash train, but yeah, I had to respect their stick-to-itiveness.
I meant to show you this earlier, but you want to know how much I enjoy Metal Gear? Like, here's my commitment to the bit. Let me turn on my space attire real quick. I like Metal Gear so much. I got this actually baked in.
You're alerted. Yo.
Just a box. But yeah, yeah, honestly, like between all the different games though, like they're different, but like I think the other we started touching on like what do you like about them, and it's just honestly also like attention to detail. Like
yes.
We're talking like in Metal Gear 2, having the ability to like peek around corners or hold up guards or be inside of a box and then shoot outside of the box and do things that are just intuitive and being like, I wonder if I can do that, and you just can. Because it's something that they specifically programmed in and not just made a nice all-encompassing interaction algorithm that kind of deals with it. They specifically put each of those elements into that thing to make sure that you could actually do those things. And it's really good. It's just an extremely good game. And you can see how the series progresses as you go, and like the ambitious shit that Kojima wanted to do with each one, like the active camouflage in 4.
Oh, I love the active camouflage. Like I already loved it in 3, like getting like wear the right one, so you could kind of just like you could actually feel stealthy in 3, like because you're outside all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he also had the scientist costume that looked like Raiden. It was always such a funny throwback. No, 'cause-
Or like the medical system in 3 that never touched it again. Never deal with setting your own bones ever again. Dealing with wounds and whatever in the jungle, or like you barely deal with like hunger and stuff in any of those games. But in 3, you're just this scrungly little guy living in the jungle trying to go from like place to place and be in the right amount of camouflage to not be seen. And so you're just like shoving mushrooms and snakes and all this other garbage into your face as you're like trying to heal naturally, falling asleep in the woods, and and just like doing whatever you can to sneak around, right? Like, and or so like you'll get a gunshot wound and you have to go into your kit and use like tweezers to pull the bullet out and then suture it and apply blood staunch and like a disinfectant and all this other crap to like
yeah,
deal with those wounds. It's not just like a health kit thing, and that's cool. That's cool as hell.
it was a great addition. You also kind of like zoom in and it would like show kind of like the break or the tear or the fracture sometimes. Like, all right, reset the bone. I don't wanna.
Or it's like it's as dumb. That game is as dumb as as like if you're in that menu where you're looking at Snake and you're like spinning his body around to like the paper doll version of him to deal with all the cuts and wounds he's got. You can spin him around like if you pulled one of these, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, ruined our setup here. You just kind of give him a little spinnerino like that. He will just vomit. I'm doing that because Kojima understands that it's a good joke to to have it act like you're breaking the fourth wall, and it's really funny. It's really good.
Oh, I love all the little like inside stuff like that. So the first time that I was playing Metal Gear 1, and it was like use the codec on the back of the box. I'm like, the back of the box? What does he mean the back of a box? I don't. Am I supposed to look for a box in this facility? Is the box I'm hiding in? And it was like, no, you have to look at the box on the back of the game sleeve.
It's the real thing. Like we are breaking the fourth wall right now to tell you
right
to do this
now.
thing, right? Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that with the and the Psycho Mantis code, both of those were mind-blowingly interesting. Like I didn't seen anything like that until outside of Metal Gear, until like Eternal Darkness.
Yeah, no, that's a good comparison. It's funny because it's even in like his other stuff too. I did a Snatcher a few months ago. You can actually like put in the number for the Konami headquarters, and it's got a special prompt that comes up.
Weird. That's weird and cool and weird.
Like he's always looking for just little ways to just like push boundaries, even boundaries that are set there, not even because they're there for a reason, but they're just there by default. He's like, no, I want to do something around it. I want to go around it just because I can. No one will stop.
And I love that. I'm there for that. It's really good. And not only that, but also like this story legitimately made me cry at points. Like it's like,
I cried big man babby tears at the end of Snake Eater. Like I'm not afraid to admit that.
I know. We're talking about it being goofy and funny and silly and stuff, and like no, it'll just punch you right in the gut at points. Like it's incredibly like you really honestly care about the characters. You care about what's going on. It's like Fate of the World level stakes sometimes, as well as just being kind of silly. But when it gets going, it's really, really good.
Yes. Oh man, the boss is the best character. She's the best person. Oh, she goes through so much crap.
And to be clear, the Snake that is in 3 is not Solid Snake. That is original OG Snake who becomes Big Boss.
Big Boss.
Mm-hmm.
The greatest soldier in the world. He does so many military operations and like he's in 2 places at once. It's crazy. It's crazy how good of a soldier he is.
How dare you? How dare I just learned that. How dare you?
No, but they say it ever since like in Metal Gear Solid 1. It's like, yeah, they want the DNA of Big Boss, the greatest soldier in the world. Did so many like military campaigns throughout Africa and Southern Europe.
Yeah, soldier's so nice we made him thrice, right? So, but no, I mean he's an asshole.
He's the worst. He's such a terrible person.
At least
He
at
for
least
for
Solid
like a
Snake is awesome.
solid for a single moment, like Big Boss had had the idea of what the boss wanted, his mentor, and then he just immediately forgot it because no, she the country betrayed her. I'm gonna make a world where no country will betray any soldier. Then he presumes to start betraying his own soldiers.
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna make an army without borders. It's military sans frontières, and it's like, no, you're just making a bunch of mercenaries, dude.
You're
Like
here.
that's not a good thing to do. You're a bunch of dudes with no power structure aside from you, which is basically fascism, and you have a couple nukes. That's a great thing and a safe thing for the world to have.
It's
I'm
kind of a
we're
cult if you stop and think about it. Like Big Boss's charisma,
it becomes one.
bringing everyone in. I love the comics that people make. They're like, I love Big Boss. No, I love Big Boss more. And then like Kaz comes out and he's like, no, we all love Big Boss. Shut up.
I was the first fanboy. It was me. It was
Oh,
me. Ah! Like
he gets so upset about that. Ah, I love the series so much. But yeah, so are you gonna vote for George Sears for president in the upcoming election?
oh yeah, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, good guy.
yeah,
He's got a very solid his face.
natural slam dunk, face you can trust, octopus arms coming out of his back. What's not to love?
Yeah, no, he's all about America, all in.
I don't know. I'm also watching that new up and comer, the naked anime boy holding a sword between his ass cheeks as he like does cartwheels through a hallway.
It was a crazy way to have a presidential debate, but I'm glad I was there for it. By force, because the boat crashed into across from where I worked. Oh,
Yeah, RIP New York Public Library.
and I
No,
like how
but
that's just like that's not a big deal at all in that game. It's like, oh yeah, no, was this a major event? Meh. We moved on pretty fast after that.
I do gotta say, I think 2 and 3 are probably some of my favorites in the series. With Revengeance being holding a special, weird, different place in my heart.
Oh,
Than
Revengeance.
2 and
Revengeance
3.
lives rent free in my head, along with its soundtrack.
Oh my god, the soundtrack is so good. Can we?
So
Okay,
fire.
I want to stop. I want to stop and talk about that specifically because I've never seen a soundtrack in any video game do what that soundtrack did. In
Mhm.
that, it allowed you kind of like a book, like so. Video games are told all video games are told from a perspective, right? Unless you have like the film noir thing where it's like it was a dark and stormy night and blah
Yeah,
blah blah happened, and
while the slow saxophone's playing.
yeah, you can hear this in my head because blah, like, but we normally don't get that narrative at all. It's all like watching a movie and you hear stuff played out and there's not, unless there's specific journal entries or something, you don't get the same being inside the main character's head that you do in a book, except for the soundtrack in Metal Gear Solid Revengeance, because all of the songs are basically what the boss characters are thinking as you fight them and like what their fucking story is.
Yes. And also what's great is that, like it starts off with just like the music playing while the fight's just starting, but then they kind of like pop their limiter or they get serious and then the lyrics hit at that moment and then you're like, oh,
Exactly.
their heart's on full display.
Exactly. And so like even the beginning, it's Raiden, right? Like you get
Yeah.
the first real fight is Raiden versus Metal Gear Rex, in the country in Africa, right? And he's you're just like, oh, what is this? I can cut stuff up with my sword. I'm just doing like little combos on enemies, and then it's like, no, you're gonna fight a huge fucking robot, and you're gonna like slice it into pieces as you go, and it's gonna be badass as hell, and just purely fucking anime. Wow.
Dentetsu, motherfuckers!
And the whole time they're just screaming rules of nature, and it's just a fucking amazing set piece.
Oh man, oh if anyone like doesn't get just like their heart just like hype up from that, it's like I want to give them a hug because they need to let go. They need to let go and just let the music flow in because that was so hype. I about pooped myself in awesomeness.
Well, one, I'm happy for your continent skills. Congratulations. And
Yeah.
two, yeah, I'm just so happy that that game became a meme and just everyone got to experience it because it's so good. Like even like the ending, right, with with the senator, right? You end up like fighting uh Metal Gear Excelsius, and you're like, you just don't. Did you remember that it was called Metal Gear Excelsius because
I
Armstrong
really
was such a
didn't.
fucking tour de force? Yeah,
I really
exactly.
didn't.
You fight a whole other Metal Gear, and no one gives a shit because Armstrong is such an amazing dude. Like he's wrong, but he's also
Oh,
like
he's wrong,
incredibly charismatic.
but he exists. That man exists in the world, and we've all seen him in one way or another, and that's what's so amazing about it.
Just nanomachine, son. Just yeah, it's just good. Just such a great game, and different from all the others because it's just a samurai game. It's not like a sneaky action game like
Yeah,
everything
no,
else is, except for like
doing
five.
character action for Raiden was the best idea. It was crazy how
Agreed.
much it went into like development hell for a bit, and then they got platinum in on it, which I think was
Which
the right action.
completely agree. I've never played Vanquish, but I want to play Vanquish because
Oh,
it's
Vanquish was
similar
fire.
levels of stupid.
Yes,
Yeah.
which is similar
Um,
levels of stupid. Oh man.
for those who yeah, for those who haven't played Vanquish, you're basically playing a soldier, and the entire premise of the game is that you have rockets in your knees, and you're scooting around on your shins on a battlefield, just sliding around, um, tribe style, as if there's no gravity, and you're just zipping around like Sonic and just shooting dudes, and it's incredibly fast
Also,
and
you're
good.
like the main guy in like the army that's got like the Kamen Rider parachute, and so
Yeah,
you have
yeah,
to
yeah,
like do
yeah.
all the cool
Oh,
stuff, and then an enemy comes up who has one, and then it, Jesus, oh,
I mean, here I am in
yeah.
my Kamen Rider suit, and I just forgot the reference entirely because that's what it is. It basically is that. It's just goofy and crazy and awesome.
When Raiden goes up against the other guy, they just have like the sword fight one on one. It's like this is what I live for.
Jetstream Sam,
Jetstream
yeah,
Sam,
that's
yes. It's like
and
I want the boss fight against the guy that's just you but different.
but it's not just that either. Like it's the fact that he's going up against Sam, and he basically told Raiden to his face like, "Hey, you come back and you challenge me, and maybe I'll start thinking about things your way." And it turns into this fight of ideas where it's just like, um, I want to believe you, I truly do. From like Sam saying this to Raiden in
Hmm.
his perspective, and like in his song, he's like, I want to believe you, I truly do, but like I can't. I've painted myself into this corner. I'm supporting these guys that are doing this thing, and if you're right, we're gonna settle that by might. And if you beat me, I'll accept you before I die. And it's such a good fight. Such an amazing like character arc for Sam too.
It is
Like
one of the top probably like Metal Gear boss fights in regards to he it like symbolizes everything that the righteous side of the cause was like supposed to be standing for. Like he symbolized that, and he even but he knew like his convictions. He couldn't like just like back down. It's like no, this is what I'm fighting for. It doesn't matter what all the crazy stuff's going on is. If I don't keep fighting, then any good in this is lost. But if you're right, then you'll be able to overcome my feelings. And it's just so good.
extremely good. And like not just that, but also like on the one hand we have that. On the other hand, you have a boss like Fat Man from MGS2, where he's just scooting around, being like, "Ha ha ha! You can't catch me, Raiden. Look at me! I'm an asshole.
You ever
Can you get these bombs in time? I don't know. Tee hee hee!" And just he's just zipping around on roller skates to '90s hard style, and you're just like, okay, this fucking rules. This is we were talking. You were asking me before the show about what some of my favorite boss fights were, and it's the Fat Man's fight and Sam's fight are probably my two favorite boss fights in the game.
That man's fight is super ridiculous. I have to agree. Like he goes so fast on those skates. It's so nuts.
And dude's like, he's not small. He's not a small man, and he's wearing a full like bomb disposal outfit. Like he's a thick boy, and yeah, it just turns out really well.
the I don't know what my favorite boss fight would be. I definitely like the pain with all the bees.
Yep, he was a fucking pain, that's for sure.
Like, I'm a
Not
bees guy. And someone's like, Machine Gun Kid. Oh, it's Machine Gun Kid. What's his thing? Well, he's got a machine gun. Ah, crap. I wasn't prepared for that.
you like that, and you not the sorrow or the end.
So I love the sniper fights in Metal Gear, but sometimes I also hate the sniper fights in Metal Gear. Whether it's like Sniper Wolf or the End or the one from 4, the White Queen.
Oh, yeah, I forget the one that's a Sniper Wolf reference.
Yeah,
that's right.
Like her body almost like turns into like a dog or a wolf with like a sniper thing. Like it. 4's got some crazy ass designs.
She's in the mech suit. Yeah.
Yeah. I love them, but sometimes they're so frustrating.
I
like
agree.
You hear the shot, you see the little flash, and then you go to like shoot, and they're not there. The game teleports them somewhere else, and you're like, dude, you're like 150 years old. You shouldn't be able to run this fast.
But I think the best part about that is the fact that they play up the fact that the end, this sniper in 3 is in a wheelchair, and he's like, yeah, I'm like definitely almost dead. I'm here just to do a job and then get the fuck out. Like I don't know how long I'm gonna live, but I'm feeling it. And if you wait a week of real time between saves before booting up your next save, the end will die.
Yep.
In the game, like you'll just have beat the boss because you waited him out in real life to death. So that happened to me because it's a week between streams for me.
Oh,
so
shit!
I did a save, and I loaded up the new one, and they made a comment being like, "Oh yeah, he died of natural causes," and it's like, okay,
I am the winner because you died of old age.
Yeah, so I did see that happen. It was really good.
Dang. I remember in Metal Gear Solid 1, like not having the tryptazine or whatever you needed to steady your hand while sniping. That made sniping a pretty rough time.
Oh, the diazepam or whatever.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like, yeah, I hope you remember to chug this beforehand. You're like, ah, crap.
And it's that, and it's also like you're talking about like the Sniper Wolf fight where you're like, yep, time to aim with a D-pad. I hope this works.
Nothing can go wrong. Love blossom on the battlefield? Well, a lot of hatred sure is, so.
It turns out the answer to that is yes, and we get to see a scruffy military man and his otaku husbando end up together.
Yeah.
Right? Even though they're like tongue-in-cheek, like, yeah, this
OTP.
is happening.
OTP. Meryl? Nah, Meryl's not a good match.
She's busy. She's got the original OG pants sweater.
That was my favorite throwback. Was when you find out that like
Johnny is Johnny.
Johnny the pants shitter was like part of the team the whole time, and it was like, yeah. I've been following you because I fell in love with you, and she's like, what? She's like, well, but how are you like not like hurting? He's like, oh, I don't like needles.
Turns out, turns out love did in fact bloom on a battlefield, and it was a man who pissed his own pants and two gay dudes and their adopted daughter. Yep.
I've got to ask now that you've done 5. So did Huey do anything wrong?
Fuck him.
Huey is a monster.
For context, Huey is Otacon's dad, and he is in Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker and Metal Gear Solid 5, and he is a piece of shit. Absolute piece of shit, dude.
Yep. He's the worst.
Yeah.
And not only that, but don't forget that he tried to drown his daughter with him.
I forgot.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I forgot. I just remember what he did to Dr. Strangelove, and that being fucked up enough, and that's disgusting. I forgot about that.
Yep. He was a terrible person even when he got home. Huey is a monster.
Yeah.
No Huey apologists on this.
No. He deserves more than what he got, honestly. Like he's that dude is incredibly weaselly, and yeah, great example of a person who needs to go back and reevaluate his entire life and how he does stuff. Like, not a nice man.
Unlike
Very cravenly,
Revolver
very well written.
Ocelot.
Okay, he's cool though.
He is cool.
How many-
Ocelot's so cool.
How many people do you know that are like quadruple, pentuple agents or whatever, that are like layers
is that
deep?
even enough layers? I get lost sometimes when I go back and think about it. I'm like, okay, he was born from, and he was working with, but then he defected over to the, but he was a double agent for, but he also had ties to them.
And then he had mind control, but it wasn't really. And
but
then,
it wasn't really.
Yeah.
But he could see spirits because he's this guy's son.
He just wants to give Solid Snake a big old smooch.
Big old smooch. Mwah.
In love with his dad. Couldn't get with his dad, so tried to get with his clone son, which is honestly like this game at the end is like old school traditional soap operas level of weird and like love triangles and shit.
Yeah.
But it's completely worth it, and for the same reason that
as a hero's that jilted lover, it's like, well, I will take the child and raise him as my own to take revenge. And Ocelot's like, oh, dibs on the other one.
Yeah, and that turned out great, right? That turned out super great.
Oh man, how did it feel to like kind of get to see like Kaz like in character compared to like in Metal Gear Solid 1 where you find out that like, oh yeah, no, he's Solid Snake's mentor, he knows all this survival stuff. You weren't even talking to him the whole time.
Yeah, no, he's I mean, Kaz is like who he is in the Metal Gear original games for the MSX. He's kind of an asshole and incredibly unhinged. And in 5, I just sat down and got used to being like, okay, it's gonna be some hot takes. I understand that, and it's just like, wow, you're just on the wrong side every time, buddy. Like, yikes! Like,
you could be more. You'd be a power that the world will fear. Also, here's his dog.
Okay, but D-Dog was the
D-Dog's great. I love D-Dog.
I correct everything. D-Dog was the best character in that series.
Best edition.
Yep. Best dog. You can still pet the dog. I think you can still pet Sniper wolves if you do things right, but still, D-Dog is the best.
So many good characters in that series. Just oh yeah, no. What are some other bosses you liked? I know you mentioned Fat Boy and Jetstream Sam. Was there any other ones that really kind of like sit in your brain forever?
I mean, we mentioned the boss. I think the Sorrow in 3 is another one that I loved specifically, just because it is
such a memorable like moment in the game.
Yeah, it's just I like that there's the creativity of these non-traditional bosses where it's like, here's a gimmick, hope you fucking figure it out, good luck. And you do, and then you feel really clever for figuring it out, right? And yeah, it's just fantastic. Or like I don't know if they're bosses, but like you know what's actually really good and incredibly empowering? The Metal Gear Rex versus Ray fight.
Yes! Oh man, I was gonna bring that up if you weren't. That feels so much fun. You're finally in the machine you've been fighting against this whole series, and you're just like having a big old metal kaiju fight.
Exactly, and it just becomes a mech fight, and you're like, yes, I saw this fucking thing 3 games ago, and I've wanted to be in it ever since, and I have a statue of it ostensibly because I'm a big nerd, and guess what? Now you get to fucking pilot it, and it's amazing, and incredibly cathartic when you whoop ass with it.
Oh yeah,
no, even if
I liked Rex better than Ray anyway. Maybe because you fight too many Rays in 2.
Well, but like. It's just satisfying because it's like, here is old and busted, and you're rocking it, but it's the classic versus new hotness, which is just like, which is what Ray is, right? And
yeah, before they were using imported inferior parts.
Exactly, you just fucking rip it apart and it's amazing. it's just good. It's just the
It's
whole
just
series is just it sets up the right notes. It pays off those notes in interesting and quirky ways. It knows when to tug on your heartstrings. It knows some of it can be a little bit too difficult, but it knows when to do stuff. I think the only thing that doesn't hold up is there's some pretty cringy misogynistic stuff. Just like as a warning to anybody who wants to go
yeah.
into it and play it. There's definitely like I have a friend who has a counter when he streams Metal Gear, where you can like put in parts. You can just put in a command that just is "God damn it, Kojima" for how many times things are like kind of like this didn't hold up and isn't great, or this is very much a Japanese versus Western sensibility issue as far as like how to treat sexuality and I'm just gonna not mention more than just saying her name. All of the story with Paz, right, is terrible,
Yep.
and she's like 16, and it's a big yikes, and it's in Peace Walker, and it's like okay, that could have been left out, man, but all right.
Yeah,
So
Paz is
like
rough. The all the bosses from 4 are rough. They're like these super
yeah,
trauma victims through war, but once you beat them, they do this like sexy stripper dance as they come towards you.
yeah, and that's not good at all, right?
Nope.
That's not how to help somebody with legitimate PTSD. Like, no. So, yeah, there's definitely some of that where it's a product of its time, and it does unfortunately detract from the experience because it's blatant. But the rest of the passion that I think both you and I have for this is warranted. Like, they're both really good. You know?
Yes. And as to 2, you can get like grab your like swimsuit models, like pictures and videos up.
Well, I mean, you could do that in The Witcher also,
You
and
can.
like it's
I didn't want to like say like that one is like as bad as 4. Like
much
that
more
one's more of
explicit.
just like yeah, it's not as explicit. That one's really more for just like shits and giggles. Because I mean, you know,
Yeah.
like you said, like James Bond, Tom Clancy, there is a lot of that kind of like objectification of women in those series. And Kojima's definitely a guy that's inspired by a lot of movie media, a lot of Die Hard, a lot of James Bond, a lot of action stuff.
I mean, honestly, go look at the intro sequence and main theme for Metal Gear Solid 3, and you'll be like, "Wow, this is just a Bond opening," and it
It is
is.
a
It
Bond
is.
opening.
Yeah. So, uh, it it comes with both the good and the bad parts of that, unfortunately, and also the treatment of um, incredibly debilitating mental illnesses and just being like, nope, this is just their quirk, lol. And it's like, no, that person needs some help and
It
shouldn't
gives
just
them
be a boss.
superpowers
Yeah, but
because of their tragic backstory. Bullets won't hurt them.
it's the '90s cartoon villain issue kind of thing.
Yo, there are a lot of GI Joe esque villains in that in Metal Gear.
Yeah, it's just it's just as problematic as it is interesting, but it's still worth in experiencing.
And it gives you a good like understanding and kind of like responsibility that like yeah, soldiers are people too. Don't forget, like they're people. Like sometimes it's not doesn't do very good at like telling you that, but it's there. It's there in the subtext. So
Yeah, but then it turns around and does the mash like, oh, war is hell. Also slapstick comedy, haha. Like, and you're just like, okay, sure. There's a little bit of whiplash with this, but like when it gets good, it's really good. Like I think the game that's probably the cleanest in that feels like it's Revengeance, even with how kind of played up Mistral is,
yeah.
right?
Hey, yeah, Mistral's only like played up a little bit though. Also, Sunny's just
Or
like a good like precious cinnamon bun.
yeah, but I'd still put that like Revengeance is still probably a bit better than the other games, or like one, except for some kind of icky interactions. I'm looking at you, Mei Ling, and the ooh, I can't believe I'm being hit on by the famous solid snake, right? Like, ugh.
You're definitely not watching Meryl work out in her prison cell. Nope, definitely not watching them stretches.
I had forgotten about that. That's right. Forgotten or blocked it out. Um, but yeah, it is what it is. It's definitely written. It is a product of its creator, and it's important to put that stuff into context, because there's good stuff even with the not so great messages.
Yeah, I
And
mean, in the end, it's still like media entertainment with a lot of different people behind it. I mean, as far as like overanalyzing, I mean, it's not going to be the kind of stuff where it's like Grand Theft Auto, where you're just picking up strippers and throwing them in the ocean. I mean,
yeah, I forgot that was also a PS2 era game, right?
yeah,
PS1, PS2 era game.
yeah, like around that time they were kind of pushing boundaries, and also it was still in the heyday of misogyny in game development. That totally still isn't going on right now. Totally.
Yeah, I'm looking at you, Hot Coffee mod, right?
It's
But just I don't know. At least it's somewhat better now, and I hope that as that stuff continues, and even with kind of some of that carrying over into Death Stranding a little bit, it's definitely better than it was.
oh yeah.
And I hope that the interesting stuff Kojima puts forth is tempered a little bit in Death Stranding 2.
I'm very curious to see what he has in mind for that, because that guy idea hole feels like infinite and also dangerous. It's like, how deep can we go?
I'm just glad that like him being burned by Konami ended up being accidentally a fantastic thing for us, because he's free to do basically whatever he wants.
Yeah, if someone drove up and gave him a limousine with a check, which is basically the modern equivalent of a dump truck full of money.
Yeah, and I mean he not only that, but like he got his open studio to do with whatever he wanted. He's making the games that he wants to make, and he every time he made a Metal Gear game was like, this is the last Metal Gear game, and he did that 5 times, right? Like he did that. He was always trying to sort of separate himself from that franchise and just getting pulled right back in, kind of like the dude what made Final Fantasies 1 through, I want to say 8.
Oh yeah.
Right? He was just like, please,
he got
let
out.
me go.
They had bad blood for a while, and then they came back and worked together on oh crap, what was it? It was a mobile game. Terra something. I forget. But
yeah,
but he also got to like make stuff for his own. He got to make Lost Odyssey.
Yeah, but it's like
being
that.
separated,
It's just the
yeah.
like, I'm free of this thing that defined me, and I'm no longer pigeonholed by this thing, and being able to break free. And I feel
think
that
a lot
personally.
I think a lot of studios, a lot of studios wish they could stop making being the guy that makes the thing.
I mean, I feel that personally too, though, Zarataro, because like when I was a regular streamer, my whole shtick was just Metal Gear, and now I'm.
Oh no, you were a
I'm
Metal
just
Gear guy. No, I'm so
like,
sorry.
Yeah, and that became the thing, and now I'm actually open to do whatever I want and stream variety games and just be a space boy. So
I'm glad that's going to be healthier for you, and it probably did like deter a lot of like regular viewers that are like, oh, you're not doing just Metal Gear forever. Well, I don't want to watch. It's like, but it's a choice you got to make. And everyone I know that stopped being just the one person streamer and like opened it up, they've all been happier for it.
yeah, exactly, and that's part of why I am what I am. So sometimes, like, what's the phrase? You got to kill your darlings. Like I'm okay with there being a definite end to this series, as much as Konami wants to do the remakes and stuff. And I'm just happy that it's going to be something that people can experience without having to go get a PS3 and try to play the entire series on that.
Oh
Right?
yeah,
There's
no,
finally,
for
like,
people that are wanting to like get in the series, there is an HD trilogy origin collection. Well, I say trilogy, but it's gonna have Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, 3. It's gonna have Metal Gear 1 and 2 from the MSX. It's gonna have NES Metal Gear 1 and NES Snake's Revenge, which blows my mind that it's got that in it. That made no sense to me when I saw that's gonna be part of the package. Like, holy crap! And it's gonna have the digital comic book from PSP.
Which, yeah, excellent.
Let's go.
Yeah, I think the only things that I'm hoping for is when they release the second round is that they manage to get 4.
4? Yeah, no, they need to
Uh,
get 4 in Volume 2.
yep,
4 Peace
and
Walker, hopefully Portable Ops, hopefully Acid
yep.
1 and 2, and Konami. Ideas free.
We'll see.
Ideas free.
Yeah, Ghost Babel. Yeah,
Oh, I
will
would
that
love Ghost Babel.
get that off the Game Boy Color, please? Yeah.
If not on there, then I hope they put Ghost Babel on the Nintendo Switch Online.
Well, hey, we'll see, man. That's a hard sell.
It's a hard sell.
Yeah, we will absolutely see. They didn't put Metal Gear. Did they put Metal Gear 1 and 2 on the NES collection?
They put Metal Gear 1 on the NES on not on the Switch NES. They had it for download on like the Wii Virtual Console.
So you're saying there's a chance?
There's a chance. Yeah. It's not 0.
So, non-zero. Yeah, baby.
Non-zero.
That's what we want. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to return to 0. Not yet. Oh man, let us take a question from the audience. Audience, if you have a question for me or Skip about anything, but also about Metal Gear, please feel free to ask in the chat.
I think while we're waiting for that a little bit too, the other thing that I wanted to kind of to talk about was just how good like the active camo in 4 was.
It's so good. I'm mad that it's not in more games. That feels like something that should have been like copied and pasted into every stealth game going forward.
But I mean, what else is like? Hey, honestly, it kind of was. Like if you look at the Hitman series, which is the modern stealth game.
Yeah, right.
Right. It's not the same sort of active camouflage the way that it is with Snake, right? Where you're literally like, I'm gonna lie down on this floor and become a like black and white checker tile, or like a rock pattern or leaves or whatever. It's not that, but it is. You get to pick your outfit, like 3, and like 4, and you get to infiltrate stuff, and that's still pretty cool.
Yeah. That's a good comparison. I see what you mean there. Let's see. How excited are we for the new Snake Eater? Oh, Snake Eater Delta. I mean, I'll play it.
I'm pretty excited. Again, it's just something that you gotta think about like how old is that game? There's tons of people who haven't played that game, right?
Exactly.
It came out for the PS2 at the end of the PS2 life cycle, and it's just been on older systems this entire time. And unless you got a PS3 still and you have those games, there's no great modern way to play that. And that's like, I don't know, that's like from 2010. That's like
I feel like now is a good time for that kind of stuff. What with like Dead Space, RE4, like those were both positive remakes that definitely like showed off like, hey, adding like a fresh coat of paint to an older game, it's good, and it lets more people play it. So Silent Hill 2 and Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater Delta coming out, it'll definitely like let people actually like play these games where they've only gotten to like watch YouTube retrospectives and comparison videos on.
Yeah, and I'm just for more of those things. Not only that, but like it's also just preservation of the game, right? Like the more that stuff, I know that it's a money grab thing where people are just re-releasing that content and just selling it again, but it's still a way for people to get it instead of it being trapped on a previous console. Like, I mean, look at what happened to a lot of the DS games, right? Unless you had Capcom doing what they're doing and coming back and making like the Phoenix Wright series.
Yeah,
some of those games
and
are
Ghost
just
Trick.
Nintendo eShop games.
Yeah, we're getting Ghost Trick.
Yeah, Ghost Trick is
like, holy crap, that was not on my bingo card.
I'm so happy that it is, though. I mean, give me
For real,
Hotel Dusk now. Come on.
Yeah.
Get it out.
There
Break it out. I wanna
are
see the
tons
picture
of
clips,
things
man.
like locked on the DS that need to be like brought back.
Oh man, especially like so here's a game that will never leave the DS because it is a stylus-based game and no one's played it. It's one of my favorites. It came out in 2005 with the DS launching. It is the game that the dude Meteos from League fame made his name off of. It's just the game Meteos, and it's a match-3 game.
Meteos is such a good puzzle game. Holy crap.
Dude, I'm so glad that you know what it is because like for the folks at home, it's basically it's a match 3 game where you're playing an alien species protecting their planet as these meteors rain down from above, and you're matching 3 either vertically or horizontally, and you're trying to turn them into little rockets that take off from the surface of this planet. And when you do that, you can collect and make like a little shield that protects your planet, and you're essentially fighting against either AIs that are doing the same thing or other actual players, and you're dumping your meteors on their planet so that they blow up first and your planet doesn't. And it's just a simple game, but it's very deep in like the shit that you can pull off, and like the different types of planets have like different gravities and different ways that they react. Like sometimes like a vertical stack will be more effective or than a horizontal one, so you end up having to like do combos differently. Like it's just a really good series that's just never going to see the light of day.
No, the last time it got any kind of love was in 2007. There was like a Japanese only PC port that they had, but yeah, the series has not been touched, which is like kind of frustrating because I think Lumines, the PSP like comparison of it, has still gotten kind of like more modern ports, and it's like Lumines was way better than Lumines.
Lumines got an HD remake and released sometime like in the last 5 years, and it came to Steam at the same time it was on the PSP, and that's on my top 10 list of games, and I've got it, and I just wish that it was more prevalent.
We need to get in contact with the Lalelule though to see if they can make this happen.
Oh God, we didn't even talk about that.
There's too much. If we actually went and tried to break down like the Patriots and just like how much like information control and ID tag guns and Drebin and the monkey with the Coke.
Let's not even. Oh man, the monkey with the Coke is so weird.
And it's like, so weird.
Who was GW? Like, yeah, there's like we're having this spoilery conversation for an hour, and this is easily a 6-hour discussion topic. Like, there's so much fucking shit to unpack. Like we haven't even mentioned some of these bosses. We haven't mentioned some of like the story or like the eye patch shenanigans or the fact that your bandana gives you infinite ammo. Like all that stuff. So.
Don't worry, I'm covered. It just points to the headband. It's like, it's so self-aware.
Yeah, I don't know. It's such a good series.
All right. And now everyone, thank y'all for watching, but please take out the memory card and unplug the console. The stream has now been hijacked. Jack, stop going forward. Jack, go back to the jail cell. You forgot something. Was it the Sears Tower or was it the? Oh, there's so much.
I'm just sad that we didn't have this conversation on what was it, March 7th? March 27th. That's
what it is. Yeah. Special day.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what was it, Jack? It's like,
gee, I don't know.
The day we had an argument in front of a tourist group, and I probably lost my job because the tourist group went without me. Don't think about that too hard.
I don't know, Rose. What day is it? Oh my God. You know, like April 30th. He's right. It's April 30th, not March 27th. You're right.
There's probably another dimension where it was March 27th. I don't know.
I like that you're trying to make me correct. Good hustle, but no, we're good.
We're good. All right, Skip, go ahead. Let people know what they can expect coming up on your streams.
Yeah. So again, I just finished up Metal Gear. I'm probably gonna continue at least watching the YouTube video that kind of explains the after effects. And when I get my act together, maybe not this Sunday, but sometime pretty soon. Maybe not this Sunday or next, but I'm gonna get the gang together. We're gonna play Survive on a Sunday. I typically do Metal Gear streams 8 p.m. EST, 5 p.m. PST on Sundays. And I'm gonna get a gang of fun people together and play Survive and actually wrap up my whole experience with the series, aside from maybe Acid, and try to sneak that in. And then aside from that, whenever I get the chance, I'm gonna play System Shock 1, the remake that just came out. That's the plan.
I've always wanted to like mess with that, but I tried playing the first Deus Ex a long time ago, and I bounced off of it so hard. So I'm like, maybe my brain's just a little too smooth for this type of gameplay.
Oh, you never asked for this. Ugh.
Yo, let's get another Deus Ex game too.
They're pretty fun. If you liked BioShock, I think you'll like System Shock. I like System Shock 2 a lot.
Okay.
I played that.
I wanted to give them like a shot now that I'm a bit more like experienced with like more games than just the ones I was playing like back in the day, which were mostly just turn-based RPGs.
You definitely should. It's worth the experience. If you like a Skyrim, if you like a Fable, it's sort of in that wheelhouse where you're doing the first-person action RPG.
Well, I am excited. And yes, on this channel, we have the finale of Sly 3 tonight here in about 50 minutes. And then next week, we will be continuing with some more stuff like FF16, Ultra Kaiju Monster Rancher, and some new stuff. So stay tuned.
Awesome. Glad to hear it, man.
Skip, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a blast having you and getting to mark out on this kind of stuff.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me and letting us just geek out about this series that kind of defined my streaming for the last 2 years. I really appreciate you having me on, man. Thank you so much.
No problem. Everyone, make sure that you click on Skip_Skipperson in the title and make sure that you're following him so that way you can see all of his cool stuff coming forward. And tomorrow we'll be back with Yo You Like That. We will be having a guest, Empress Roth, on, and we're going to be talking about tabletop RPGs. So if that is your jam, feel free to stop in. All right, everyone, y'all have a lovely day. I will see all y'all later. Bye, Q!
Thank you so much. Bye.